Hey everyone, it's Morgana, Sophia, astrologer, and I just want to share with you a couple of thoughts about the week ahead. So it is the week in which we have the Scorpio new moon on Friday the 1st. I'm going to record a separate video about that because it deserves its own video. We're in a super intense Scorpio season at the moment. So you either love or you hate Scorpio season. And you either love the intensity of it, you love delving into your shadow, or you really start to resent it because all you see is everyone talking about going into the shadow and it feels uncomfortable, it feels really, really painful. But this is made even more intense by being the last few days, like we say few days, but by the 19th of November, Pluto exits Capricorn for the last time in our lifetime. So she's really bringing up some of the dregs right at the end of the sign, but also this Scorpio season is really asking us to look deeper, to really peer into the murky waters of Scorpio. So Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto is very much all about being the dark goddess of transformation, and the real themes at the moment is very much very scorpionic actually, you know, destruction and rebirth. And the energy is really beginning to build because about the 3rd, 4th of November, the energy builds to having a Pluto-Mars opposition. And this is where two planetary goddesses are opposing each other in the silver wheel of the astrological year. And we've got Pluto over here, the dark goddess of transformation, bringing up for us all the fears around change, all the fears around destruction, all the fears around transformation, meeting the planetary goddess Mars of war, she who is really, really fearless, she who stands in her own power, and she who has a massively combustible energy, you know, very, very warlike, very quick to act, very, very explosive. So I am an Aries, so Mars rules Aries, but I've also got Sag rising, Sag moon. But because I'm an Aries, and for a long time when I was a small child, pretty much between the ages of about 6 and 11, I was incredibly explosive, a true typical Aries, and the flick of a switch I would go from being a fairly nice child into this raging harpy who didn't think before she spoke. I just used to really lose my temper, and I'm sure it's an Aries thing when we're younger, but we're wanting to hear our voice heard. There's some past life stuff about wanting to hear our voice being heard, but we're really reactive, we're deeply impulsive. It's really Aries Mars energy, you know. I had to count to 10 sometimes when I got into this volatile place to stop me exploding. And the reason I'm telling you this is because around that 3rd, 4th, and a very notable 5th of November, which I believe there is an election coming up across the pond. So I'm based in the UK, but also the 5th of November in the UK is also bonfire night. So the celebration, so to speak, or Guy Fawkes night, the celebration, the remembrance of the time when there was a plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament. And that energy, that explosive energy, even though the gunpowder plot failed, there's that real impulsive, explosive Aries energy around at the moment. So it's going to feel really, really tense. It's going to feel like we're wanting to dive into the deep waters of Scorpio. We want to see the darkness illuminated for us. We want to see the shadow. We want to be offered the cup of our poison to transmute and alchemize it in to medicine. But we've also got this real war-like energy. This goddess of change and transformation meets the goddess of war, both kind of butting heads. We're going to try and find a balance between the two polarities in this Scorpio season of dark dive and shadow. So it is going to be really intense, and it is going to be it's going to pull some strings. I'm literally getting like a violin and you're tight, or a guitar, and you're tightening and tightening the string. And at some point, if you ever tightened a guitar string, really thinking I did this once when I was at school because I used to play the guitar really badly. I tightened it so much because I was so angry with my music teacher, I snapped the string. That is the energy, that tension on that string is really, really coming through. We'll have this Mars opposition. Mars will then tip into Leo, another fire sign, but that then in itself sets us up for Mars retrograde in December, which I'm really going to touch on in a separate video. It's deserving of its own video. So what can we do in this next week or two when the energy is super, super intense? What can we do this week in particular? So we've got Samhain as well, so Halloween for those of you who celebrate it as well. So that very much is on dark moon. That's a place of deep contemplation, a place where your shadow is really going to arise. So depending on how you celebrate it, take time to really get in touch with your shadow, really do the deep dive work. And when I was really tuning into this explosive new moon energy, this Mars Pluto opposition, the words that came up, and I've actually had to write them down, is disengage, detach, be mindful of your energy, because we always remember where our attention goes, the energy flows, and hold out for the highest outcome. So read into that what you will, but what I really want to say is that when the brown stuff hits the fan over the next week or two, because I can really see this kind of moving from this end of October, Samhain, we've got this Mars Pluto opposition, then there's an election, and it's also firework night, bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night, whatever you want to call it in the UK. I find that it's going to be incredibly volatile in the UK as well. We've got some big decisions coming up in the UK if you've got your eyes on what's happening on Wednesday with the budget. So disengage, detach from all the drama. If you can do, don't go onto your favourite newspaper site. Don't read the news, you know, be really discerning who and what is filling your feed on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever else we do and get our news or updates from. Really go inside because there's going to be so much coming up. And one of the things I really want to touch on as well, and I'll touch on it a little bit more in my new moon video, is just watching for wounds around the I am presence coming up, but also some really deep sisterhood wounds. So I'm going to park that and talk about it in my next video. I'm going to record these back to back, but really just watching the energy around sisterhood and watching for that witch wound coming up to be healed as well. But in this energy, in this really powerful kind of week, 10 days, in fact it's going to be 7 days until the election on the 5th, because I'm posting this on Tuesday. Really detach from the drama, step outside, be with yourself, be in your heart, go back into your practices, take the practices that you have in nature as well. Don't let the intensity of the external come internally for you. Hold that highest outcome for all, whatever that looks like. Detach from the outcome. Hold everything into your heart and speak. And when you have to speak, speak with love, speak with kindness. If you think you're going to lose your temper and become like that little explosive 7-year-old that I used to be, count to 10. It works wonders. See the bigger picture. Know that you are a thread within the collective, and the collective is about to shift and change. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if this resonates, and just sending you so much love. If you want to dive deep into your shadow, you can book a shadow reading with me as well, and I'll put the links below. So sending you so much love. Take care.